Oh man, I can't wait to figure out what I want to buy in 2007. This right here is a Walmart holiday gift guide from 2007, and this was a year that I was 10 in, and it's a year I'm oddly nostalgic for, mainly because I was 10. I mean, looking back, a ton of stuff happened this year. I mean, it was a big year for video games. The iPhone released, a bunch of movies came out. Most of them weren't good, but a bunch of movies came out. It was a big year for like blockbuster movies. I remember you got like, you know, Shrek 3, Spider-Man 3, Pirates of the Caribbean 3, and of course a big year for toys. Like I said, I have a lot of nostalgia for this year. This year, like, was this big year where, like, you know, I'm 10 years old in 2007. I was consuming all kinds of things on TV and movie theaters, on video game consoles, on the internet, all of this. I don't know who these fuckers are, but I do kind of remember them. And in terms of video games, I mean, this was the year of the Wii. I mean, not the year the Wii launched, but I mean, this was when it was really taking off as like, oh my god, this is like the big thing. The Xbox 360 and PS3 were in full force, the DS and PSP, Blu-ray, HD DVD, DVDs. Like I said, the iPhone, iPods were huge. This was a big year for consumerism. So let's take a look. All right, first page. Oh, we have a little wish list here. You know what? I should take note of what I do want out of everything here. I don't want to ruin the I don't want to ruin the catalog, so I'll keep a note of it here. First up, we have this entire big lineup of Walmart exclusives, and Chibi Robo Park Patrol is front and center. Might as well write that down. I don't really know if I'd really want that as a kid, but you know what? I need to maintain face. A battleship torpedo attack? I don't remember that. I remember electronic battleship, which was a big deal. It was battleship, but with noises. That was it. This seems to be kind of like a spin-off of Battleship, along with the Littlest Pet Shop Monopoly, which just includes damn Littlest Pet Shop figures instead of the tokens. Easy Link Internet Launch Pad. What? Does that actually connect to the internet, or is that just like one of those fake toddler laptops? I'd assume fake toddler laptops. Damn, okay, all right, you know, nothing crazy sticking out to me there, except for, you know, Chibi Robo. But, yeah, let's take a look. Oh, Jesus. They're trying to win us over with charm. Dear Mom, when it comes to toys, well, we've got what you need. One of the largest selections you'll find anywhere. Unbeatable prices, truckloads of stock, all conveniently located in your favorite store. Is Walmart really anybody's favorite store? It's like Denny's, you know? It's just like, is Denny's really anybody's favorite restaurant? You go to it sometimes, but is it really out of, you know, like lust? Oh, we have the superhero toy Transformers. Yeah, that was another thing that came out in 2007, the Michael Bay Transformers movie. Yeah, oh man, look, you got the Sandman toy from Spider-Man 3. Just non-stop Spider-Man 3 toys. Oh man, oh you got a web blaster thing. I always thought that looked pretty cool. How you literally have this like silly string that you could you know like do like Spider-Man. And you have the Transformers toys, the Transformers DVD 2-pack with a new 30-minute prequel. Jesus Christ, what? My God, and that was exclusive to Walmart. It said. Like, they produced a 30-minute prequel just for Walmart? Anybody would do anything from Walmart back then. The Star Wars toys, Ben 10, Power Rangers, none of this really spoke to me as a kid. Maybe Hot Wheels sometimes. Sometimes, mind you. Matchbox, the cars. Oh man, you literally get a Piston Cup trophy? Is that real? Or is that just for show? Is that just Hot Wheels, a Hot Wheels laptop? Why? A fast track laptop, so you include the track there. Why? Why? Why are you doing that? I don't understand. iClops? It's a little magnifying thing that you plug into the TV, and then you can view things super up close on a TV set. That's pretty cool. I would have liked that as a kid. Yeah, big year for like the movie license stuff. Pirates of the Caribbean, Nerf. Not licensed stuff. I was just changing the subject. Nerf, Air Hogs. Deserves 2 damn pages. Jesus. I mean, damn, Barbie gets the exact same amount of pages as Air Hogs. Like, what? I always liked the cash register toys as a kid. You also get a globe. Oh, man. And then Bratz. This was during the big Bratz versus Barbies war. And I think parents were, like, upset at Bratz, probably because they were called Bratz. And it was, like, kind of like a, like, oh, man. Like, I don't want this, you know, corrupting my child. I don't want my kid to think it's cool to have a big ass head. Oh man, all right, we got the Disney what the, why is it girly girl world? This section was called Boys Backyard. Like, Jesus Christ. That seems oddly insulting to the girls. Like, ooh, look at that, only you want the fucking moon sand. Like, what the hell? Like, who wouldn't want the Aquadot Super Studio? That's badass. Oh yeah, here we go with the video game section. This is what I'm talking about here. So first up, we got the Wii, 250 bucks. That was how it was originally priced when it first came out. And yeah, these were damn impossible to find back in the day. A tradition back then would just be to ask the electronics guy, like, hey, I don't need a Wii, or like, I'm not looking for a Wii, but do you have any Wiis? Just because you're interested to see, like, ah, man, what are they gonna say? And they're always gonna say the same thing. Like, oh yeah, we got him in this morning, or like, oh yeah, we got him in a week ago, and like, yeah, they immediately left. Yeah, they're gone. They're gone. But here were the major Wii games that were being advertised around the time: Mario Party 8, Mario Galaxy with an older box art, and then Disney Princess Enchanted Journey, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Mario Strikers Charge, and Smash Bros. Brawl when it had the original release date of December 3rd. And Guitar Hero 3, this was when Guitar Hero was really picking up in terms of, like, you know, just get-togethers, party games. It was huge. Then we have the DS Lite, only 130 bucks, alongside Chibi Robo Park Patrol. The big advertise. The first DS game listed. I mean, I guess that's a form of pushing Chibi Robo. Cars Mater National on DS. That gets a pity edition. And Brain Age 2, only 20 bucks, alongside Zelda Phantom Hourglass for 35. Yeah, I remember DS games were originally $35. Out of everything here, I mean, like, I would probably say, you know, obviously Mario Galaxy, I'd want that. Mario Party 8, you know, like, back in the day, I never played a Mario Party when I was 10 years old, and I believe I probably only won it because it was Mario, but I don't think I get a lot out of it, considering I was an only child, and I didn't really have any neighbors that would play that with me. I don't think my dad would like that fucking hat thing at the beginning of the game, and I'm gonna say no to that one. In terms of DS games, you know what, I'll say, man, when I was 10, I was fucking dumb, so I probably wouldn't get through Phantom Hourglass that well. And then Brain Age, I like Brain Age, but like, man, you know, like, I liked Professor Layton for the DS when I was younger, Professor Layton and the Curious Village, the first one. And I feel like that one I enjoyed significantly more than I would have Brain Age, and it kind of got the same job done. Just because Brain Age was so damn simple, it was so, like, literally just, it was more of a medical, it felt more like a medical tool than a game at times. Just with how white everything was, the branding was, how it was kind of like, yeah, I just do this once a day. So, you know, I'll hold off of that for now. But yeah, very much advertising Guitar Hero 3 on any system imaginable. Guitar Hero 3 on a 360. 360 arcade, yeah, I would want that. Alongside the Wii, obviously. But the 360 arcade, yes please. Rock Band. The Simpsons game with an older logo, an older box art compared to what actually released. Yeah, I was big into The Simpsons in 2007, and that game was really cool for me back then. I was keeping up to date with, like, the Simpsons game website. It was weird, but like, yeah, I was keeping up to date. I was watching all the trailers. I thought that game looked really cool. The graphics and how it was, like, using, like, 2D animation for the cutscenes, that was badass. Crash of the Titans? No. Yeah. I have to put that down. Seen It, I would have wanted Seen It back then. Seen It was, like, really damn cool because it combined like just board game with DVD. And that was really badass. And it comes with a clicker on the 360, like a little buzzer. That's really cool. Yeah, I'll pick that up. I would say Guitar Hero, but man, I am horrible at Guitar Hero, and that's probably because I never grew up with Guitar Hero. I never had a Guitar Hero game. I only ever had DJ Hero. But I'm sure I would do much better at Guitar Hero nowadays if I grew up with the game. But yeah, like I'm not gonna commit to putting Guitar Hero 3 on my wish list. Now, a silver PS2, I always really wanted a silver PS2, mainly because one of my friends had a silver PS2, the Slim model, you know, the PS2 Slim. It always looked amazing. I always kind of wanted a PS2 because of just how much stuff released for it, how much cool stuff that, as a GameCube fan, you know, like, I never got. I loved my GameCube, but, like, come on, you got to admit, slim pickings sometimes. So I'd kind of want that, mainly because, hey, it's so much cheaper. And Buzz the Mega Quiz. I'll pick that up. I always wanted Buzz. I always remember the commercials for it. Weirdly enough, in Europe, they got nothing but Buzz over there. It was insane how much Buzz the Mega Quiz they got. They got like 30 versions of Buzz, and we only got like 10 of them. Which is really strange. I mean, you'd think we'd get them over here because it's just trivia, but still. All right. Oh, okay. So no PS3, I guess. All right, fine. Now we'll go over the movies. As we can see, Shrek 3, Pirates 3, and Spider-Man 3. You know what? I will put down Shrek the Third because I had that DVD back in the day. And yeah, it wasn't a great movie. I would definitely have something to say about this year's biggest comedy. Easily, like probably the worst of the Shrek movies right there. But as a DVD, I remember back in the day they would load up those DVDs with like great extras. And I remember having this DVD and enjoying it quite a bit, mainly because like it had a lot of content in there. I liked that about it. And Spider-Man 3, you know what? I always kind of enjoyed that movie. My parents had one of the movie channels for a little bit there, Stars. Back in like 2008, 2009, when we had those channels, you know, those were kind of like, you know, the pay-per-view channels. They would play movies unedited, without commercials, all that stuff. And I feel like we never really got the most bang for our buck out of those movie channels because they always played the same damn movies over and over and over again. I specifically remember Spider-Man 3 and Austin Powers 2. Those would play on those channels all the damn time. I think Cars was also a popular one. But yeah, I don't think I actually ever watched Spider-Man 3 in one full sitting, but I got the gist of it through like watching, you know, the first 20 minutes and then the last like 60 minutes and then the middle like 40 minutes. So yeah, I've watched Spider-Man 3. But out of order. And I always enjoyed it as just a dumb little popcorn flick. So yeah, I'll put that there. And they also have all the other movies underneath. Only $10 a pop for the first two Spider-Man. That's not bad. But ooh, Meet the Robinsons. That was a good one. That was also on Stars. That was also a big Stars movie. That was on there a lot. And it was a pretty good movie. I liked it. I never owned that DVD. That was the only DVD that I owned. And you know what? I'll star the things that I did own as a kid. Yep, that's it. Oh, Bratz. All right, Bratz down just because I watched that a couple years ago on like one of those free movie apps, Tubi. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was one of those bad movies that like I remember it being kind of funny bad, but I don't remember a damn thing about it other than it being funny bad. So yeah, I'll put it on the list just because, you know, I kind of liked it. Flushed Away, yeah, sure, why not? I only ever watched that movie in the theaters, but it was pretty okay, so I'll pop it down here. Open Season, when did I watch that? I think I watched that on like TV, maybe. Wasn't very good. Bro, Kids Bop 12, why not? I always wanted Kids Bop as a kid. I had a couple Kids Bops. I'll pop that down. Let me see. All right. I own the SpongeBob's Atlanta Square Panis DVD, but I hated that special as a kid, so I won't put it down here. I did own Night at the Museum on DVD. Why not? I'll add that. And then the Cars. Yeah, I own Cars, so I'll pop that down. All right. Ooh, the Santa Claus trilogy. So the third one was not very good. The first two, not bad. And this is kind of the Christmas section here. Ooh, kind of the Christmas movies. Well, they have this collection of like the classic specials that are kind of just fun to watch during the Christmas season, but probably if you analyze them critically, not that great. But I mean, they're classics. You just like watching them. You don't have to give this critical analysis of Rudolph from the 60s. Like, what are you accomplishing with that? Oh man, Cinderella 2. I remember seeing that at like a relative's house. Like one of my cousins was playing it, and it was just on. Remember, a rat turned into a guy. One of the stepsisters was given a focus for like a second. I remember that. Oh, Peter Pan. You know what? I always liked when they put out the classic Disney movies out of the Disney Vault. That was a Disney Vault movie because, you know, all the Disney movies were Disney Vault movies at the time. And pretty much whenever they would do that, they would just load them up with like special features, and I loved special features back in the day. Happy Feet? I don't give a damn about Happy Feet. never my thing, except, you know what? I did own the DVD. It was fine enough for one viewing, didn't really care to go back. A Christmas Story, I never really needed the DVD since they play it all the damn time. Like, oh man. All right. Let's see. Swipeout Battle Racing, so it's just racing with cards? I'm not gonna put that on the list, but pretty dope. NetJet Master Pack, great full screen gaming with this amazing online game system. No, that ain't true. All right, computer not included. So what, it's like a plug and play system for your computer? Why would I want that? Cube World Block Bash. So those were kind of cool. Like you'd put a bunch of them together and they'd have these little LCD screens on them. And when you'd put two cubes together, then the two screens would kind of interact with each other. Like they'd have these little stick figures and they'd do stuff, you know, across the screens to each other. It was pretty badass. There's a lot of cool little LCD things. Oh, the iDog. I think one of my friends asked me, it's just like, oh man, like what kind of tattoo would this guy that we know, what would he get as a tattoo? I thought for like 5 seconds, I just, the iDog. I never really understood what that was, but now I do. It's it's pretty much just you plug an MP3 player into the iDog, and it probably just bobs its head to the music. That's it. But it also seems to be a speaker. So yeah, it'll amplify the music, but also the dog will just, you know, jump back and forth. Oh damn, the Mio pup. So I guess that's kind of like an upgrade of the iDog. This cute puppy friend shows his feelings with 100 different icons. Okay, so, you know, it's not an iDog. You don't plug your MP3 player in there, but it's kind of like a weird little digital pet. I guess this was kind of what this entire page is all about with the Tamagotchi there. Tamagotchis were really big, like in 2006 around my school, and I always kind of wanted one just because it was big, but I never owned one. That was kind of the thing with a lot of trends, like Silly Bands. Anybody remember Silly Bands? Those were big back in the day. Never owned them, and by the time I could actually own them, like as in like I had cash on me, I saw them at the store, they were out. I never bought it. I never had a Silly Band. I never owned any Silly Band. That's right, I don't conform. I am me, chat with your friends on the internet with this awesome wireless handheld. Jeez, nah. I out of every one of these like little things for kids that were about like messaging, the only one I ever wanted was like, I believe it was called like a Firefly. It was basically a cell phone for kids that only had like 2 numbers programmed into it. Your mom and the cops. Pretty much an emergencies only kind of deal. And my parents were kind of the type back in the day in like, you know, the 2008 time where it was like, you don't need a smartphone. Like we're not, or not a phone in general. You don't need a phone. You know, like we're not going to get you a phone. Of course, eventually, you know, it just made more sense for me to have my own phone. So I got my own phone a few years later. And that's something I do kind of agree with, but it's also, it's a weird thing because it's just like, you know, nowadays, you know, I think if anybody needs a cell phone on them at all times, it's a kid. 'Cause that way, you know, they can call for help. You can track them potentially if somebody comes up and kidnaps them or something, you know? That way you can tell if it's just like, oh, like they're not supposed to be there, or they need my help. You know, so I think it's very important for kids to have phones. But it's also fucking terrifying for kids to have phones. So cell phone usage for kids, you know, like, hey, you know, it's up for debate. Robo Panda usage? Pretty damn necessary. Especially when the mini Robo Panda is $10 and the standard Robo Panda is $150. What the hell does it do? This cool crawling panda runs on batteries, not bamboo. What? Interactive without remote. 20 inches tall, 3 modes. Encourages the child every step for confirmed interaction. Reads stones. Oh, it says stories. Okay, well, so like what? Like it reads? It reads books for you? Like, okay. Why does the mini Robo Panda just crawl? Oh, an amp. The electric guitar. The cheap one is $50, so you know it's not real. All right, ooh, here we go. All right, so back in 2007, I believe this was around the time that I finally got my first iPod. I got an iPod Nano, mainly because I didn't know you could watch videos on an iPod until like one of my friends came into school and he was like, oh yeah, I was watching this TV show on the bus. I was like, how the hell did you do that? He's just like, oh yeah, I put it on my iPod. I'm like, so I got an iPod Nano. I believe it was like 2008 I got an iPod Nano, but here they're advertising the iPod Shuffle. This was probably like one of the best design iterations of the iPod Shuffle, where it could clip on to your sleeve. Then for like the third version that they released after this, like they got rid of all the buttons. That was like one of the stupidest Apple ideas they've ever had. And then for the fourth version, they brought the buttons back and they brought, you know, they had the clip and all that stuff. But I think this one was a little better, mainly because like you had like a little area on the side to like hold down while you use the clip. The fourth version didn't have that. They pretty much cut this part off and it was just this. So it was kind of a little more awkward to use the clip. Gummy headphones, yeah, I use that all the time just because like back in the day, I would always buy like cheap headphones because they were cheap. And then they'd, you know, break. They would stop working. So I just go, you know, 2 weeks later, I'd go get more cheap headphones, and then more cheap headphones, and more cheap headphones. It was a pretty wild time. I frequented the dollar store quite a bit for gummy headphones. But then we also have, oh man, one of these phones. That's pretty badass. There's a lot of cool, oh my god, $150? Nowadays, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between like this phone that's $150 and like this phone. It's like 20. Over here we have, these look like kind of more just consumer electronics, some video cameras, digital camera, Crayola digital camera, mind you, just in case you weren't sold on the Kodak. Oh, well, Crayola does it, then yeah, sure. My first video camera was a Tiger V-Cam Now. It's still the same camera that you see on the desk on every episode of Scott the Woz, the green one. And I got that in 2007, so maybe, you know, to be fair, if we would have seen it in this book, it probably would be right here, but still. These all seem very much like stocking stuffer cameras for the most part. $30 Spider-Man digital camera, $30 CyberPix digital camera, $60 camera. Actually, you know, the V-Cam Now was very similar to this. Just in terms of interface and screen size and all of that. Here we have the board games. All right, Seen It. I really wanted Seen It back in the day, and I did get it. I got Seen It Junior, and I got a couple of like the branded versions of Seen It. So like I got, you know, SpongeBob Seen It, Simpsons Seen It, Turner Classic Movies Seen It, because that was at the dollar store. I got that one. Yeah, just a really cool like DVD board game hybrid where, you know, you had the board game and you pop the DVD in and it was all about just movie trivia and they'd show you movie scenes. It was really cool. I always really loved the idea. And I don't think it's really, you know, out there today, but, you know, it would make all the sense in the world to be, you know, available today just because, like, you know, you could create like an Apple TV app or a Roku app or an iPad app, an iPhone app, whatever, and have all those clips on there, but still. Ooh, Cranium? I always liked Cranium, but I liked the kid variant, Cadoodle, or Caboodle, whatever it was. I always liked that, mainly because it was all about just like a bunch of creative things where it's like, hey, you know, mold something out of clay, draw something. I always really liked it. So, yes, I'll put down Cranium. All right. Monopoly Electronic Banking Edition. Monopoly Disney Pixar Edition. Oh, man, Uno Attack. I always liked Uno Attack. Ooh, Catchphrase. I always liked Catchphrase. I forget exactly how the game is played and what you do in it, but I remember liking it, so I'm putting it down here. Elephun. I never had an Elephun. I believe probably the target age for it was probably maybe younger than the 10-year-old I was in 2007, but I don't care. I always thought it looked badass. This damn elephant that just sprays out all this stuff I really like that about it. Ooh, bikes. Ripstick? Oh my god. I always wanted the motorized car as a kid. Cause like I always wanted to just be able to just go, you know, just drive my car, just go somewhere. And as a kid that is. And yeah, I would probably want the John Deere Gator. It is one of the cheaper ones of the bunch, only $298.67, a little cheaper than the Ford F-150 pickup. So yeah, I will pick up the John Deere Gator, thank you very much. Oh man, a bunch of baby stuff. Well, let me see, anything look that cool? Oh man, that's pretty cool. You get a whole refrigerator. Ah, damn, alright, fine. Oh man, more baby stuff. The Smart Cycle. Yeah, man, it's like an exercise bike, but you know, it plugs into the TV. This was during a strong era, or this is probably during like the last major push for the plug in and play TV games. Because I remember those were like really big back in like 2003 to like 2006. It's probably like one of the last major pushes for that type of thing. Ooh, man. So, Easy Link Internet Launchpad. So, it's like a Disney thing where, you know, it's kind of just a weird thing you plug into the computer that kids can play around with. No, thanks. Oh, man. I kind of always wanted one of these notebooks. It's like, listen, I always really wanted a laptop as a kid. I finally got one in 2010. That was my big Christmas present, was like a MacBook. And that was the thing that kind of just shot me into doing what I do now, which is just, you know, that gave me the ability to edit video whenever I wanted, which was amazing. But I always found these little computer toys for kids really intriguing, just because of you know, the screen was about 3/10 the size of the pretend screen. But you know what? I always kind of wanted one, so I'll put that down. And don't think I'm not looking at that V-Smile. Yeah, a game console for babies, but you know, it has all these educational games and all that. I always thought the Leapsters looked pretty cool. I had a Leap Pad, which was pretty much like made by the same people here, Leapfrog, but I believe it was more of like, you know, like an interactive book that you open up and you have this little pen and you can tap on things and it would make noises. But I always thought the Leapster looked pretty badass. Pretty happy that my parents got me a Game Boy Advance instead, but still, I kind of would have liked it. I believe Leapfrog also made the Fly Pen, which I got. The Fly Pen was kind of like this digital, like, computer pen where you could write stuff on specific paper and then it would transfer over to the computer. The commercials made it look way better than it really was. Never worked that well for me. It was kind of meant to also be like an educational tool where you could tap on things in specific books and, you know, maybe help you learn Spanish and all that. It still didn't really work well. For me, at least. More play school junk there. Oh man, and then is this that? Oh man, this is their last push, and it's just a bunch. This is just a best of collection. Damn it! And on the back, oh, it's just one thing of the Wii. One Wii thing, yeah, thanks. Alright, so that was the Walmart Wish Guide for 2007. Obviously very much kid-focused, but a lot of stuff happened this year. You know, not the craziest year. Looking back, you know, this was a big, just put out a bunch of garbage year. But it's a year I'm very nostalgic for because this was the kind of stuff that was coming out when I was a kid. And, yeah, I mean, all this stuff sure did come out. And I skipped over a bunch of this stuff that I probably would have put on my wish list, honestly. Because, like, looking at all this, probably would have done the Eye-Clops. I like that. Moon Sand, always wanted Moon Sand. And you know what? F it, 2 Major Nationals. But this is a year I always kind of look back at with a lot of fondness and a lot of nostalgia. And hopefully you could probably see why throughout this entire book. I mean, to be fair, yeah, I could look at a book from 2021 and it's probably gonna have the exact same kind of stuff pretty much, but you know, it's something where I'm like, oh man, that stuff is stupid, but this stuff is great. So like, is it really because of that? No, it's because of nostalgia. You know, everything is just cooler because, you know, it was from when you were a kid. So, you know, it's not to say like, oh man, this stuff is so much better, because damn it, I would be lying.